okay. This is not a stupid 5-year-old.
All right. All right. For Judging Judy. All right.
Hello, this is the Judging Judy podcast, the comedy podcast that finally asks the question, is Judy Scheinlein innocent or guilty? Now, of course, we'll hop into an episode from Judy's extensive archives. Today's is from way back on December 24th, 1996, the day before Boxing Day Eve. But first, a little bit of advice. If you don't want to miss the boat, it would be best for you to get to the dock pretty early, and if possible, to have pre-purchased your ticket. Also, it wouldn't hurt to have some kind of alternative transportation plan in mind, just in case you do miss the boat. Now, to help set the scene for today's episode and remind us exactly what was going on in the world back on 12/24/96, I've brought in my esteemed colleague, Professor Wikipedia, Doctorate of Penelope Cruz Studies. A Learjet 35A business jet disappeared near Dorchester, New Hampshire. The crash, which killed 2, led to the longest missing aircraft search in the state's history, lasting almost 3 years. Well, that sucks. Joseph Charles Mueller, the American biochemist and dentist who was responsible for the development of Crest toothpaste, died at the age of 73. Mueller, along with collaborators at Indiana University, found that stannous fluoride was a very effective compound for protecting teeth. The next time you're surprised when the dentist tells you that you don't have any cavities, thank Joseph Mueller. White supremacists in Worcester, South Africa bombed a supermarket, killing 4 people and wounding several others. All 4 perpetrators were convicted of murder. 3 served life sentences. It sure would be nice if we treated South African white supremacist neo-Nazis the same way here in America. Thanks for all the help, Professor Wikipedia. Next, let's check out the New York Times crossword for 12/24/96, care of xwords.com. The clue for 4 down was pronto. And the answer was ASAP. And finally, let's check in on the US box office for that day. Number 3 was Evita, number 2 was Jerry Maguire, and number 1 was Independence Day. The producers of Jerry Maguire received as much as $1.5 million to feature a fake Reebok ad at the end of the movie. However, director Cameron Crowe cut the ad for the theatrical release after test audiences responded poorly to it. In fact, the only extant mention of Reebok in the whole movie was negative.
I'll boil it down for you. Fuck Reebok. All they do is ignore me. Always have. Always have.
A $10 million lawsuit by Reebok against the film's creators was settled before it reached court, and the ad was eventually restored to some versions of the movie. Still, the whole debacle seems to suggest that showing someone the money doesn't always work. Let's get to the preview for this week's episode of Judge Judy.
There's a discrepancy in the babysitter's bill.
I love the alliteration, announcer Jerry Bishop, but could you have gone a step further by saying, bears discrepancy bin the babysitter's bill?
How much do you say you paid her?
There's some intense face acting here from Judy, from the plaintiff, from the defendant. Everybody looks like they're doing impressions from The Mask, and they're doing them well.
That was very distressing to me.
You're telling me a face like that shouldn't be able to babysit? Not unless you've got a kid who really deserves a good traumatizing. Enough of the preview, let's get to the case.
All parties on Warner vs. Coates. Step forward, please.
Okay, this is 2 episodes in a row that we've got someone named Coates. Moth-eared listeners might remember that last episode's second case featured plaintiff Jalen Coates suing over the house painting that wasn't. Of course, Jalen lost her case. We'll see if this Coates is a better fit. Roxanne is suing her friend Jackie.
Roxanne Warner babysat for her friend Jackie Coates' kids. But when it came time to collect, Jackie said it was too much.
That's too much, man.
Jackie not only says that Roxanne was asking for too much money, she also says her friend put her kids in danger. Roxanne brought 3 witnesses, an older woman, a child, and a man who looks, at this juncture, like a guy who teaches computer literacy to seniors at the library.
You say that you had an arrangement with her to babysit for her 4 children.
This may be a little premature. I may be getting ahead of myself. But Jackie, you had her watch your 4 hatchlings and you have the audacity to shortchange her? The nerve of some people. I don't like to make, personal attacks. But Jackie, you look just like the middle sister on Full House, and not in a good way.
How
Apparently, they started, Roxanne and Jackie here, they started with a verbal agreement that eventually evolved into a written contract. Even though we've only just kicked things off, things are a little bit heated.
Did you have a contract?
Yes, I do have a contract. It's right here, ma'am.
She made up, and I signed.
Well, I mean, you didn't have to sign it. A person can write down whatever they want on a piece of paper, literally anything. It's up to you to decide, hey, this makes sense. I agree to it. Or, for example, alternatively, you could say something like, no, I don't think I'm on board with reopening the government if it means a return to the same stupid status quo, nothing gained whatsoever, after people have suffered for over 40 days because of a shutdown. I mean, that was just rhetorical, that was just an example, but that's something you can say as an alternative to signing something that you don't agree with. Hear, hear! Roxanne, who hands over a copy of the contract for Judy to look over, says she waited a week and a half for Jackie to write up a contract. When that didn't happen, she made one of her own.
How much did you pay her in total?
I have paid her in full. I have paid her in full.
That's not the question Judy asked, and I have a feeling it's not the answer she wanted to hear. Imagine if you heard something like that in real life. We'll flash back to 1996. You're heading to whichever no longer extant music store was at your local mall. Tower Records, The Wall, FYE, Sam Goody, whatever, they're all the same. You go up to the guy at the desk, the guy with the Felix the Cat tattoo he proudly shows off, and you ask how much the new Weird Al CD, Bad Hair Day, costs. And the guy says, oh, why don't you just get the Amish Paradise single? And you say, I happen to like his original tracks too. Oh, why don't you just tell me the price? And instead of saying $17 or $20 or whatever they charged back then, the guy just says full price. That's the equivalent of saying I paid her in full when Judy asks how much Jackie paid. That was a concise, relevant metaphor, right?
Party like it's $16.99.
Jackie goes on in detail to describe how she paid Roxanne without saying how much she paid Roxanne.
I had the cash in an envelope. I had her daughter's tour bag. She came to my house to pick it up.
Wait, Roxanne has kids of her own? The torment of dealing with her own offspring wasn't enough. She needed to add Jackie's to the mix? How much torture is enough for this lady?
It's never enough.
Jackie's explanation of how she paid Roxanne gets a little weird.
These people took it out and gave it to her with her daughter's tour bag. It was an envelope.
I don't know what this means. Who are these people? Should we call Scully and Mulder? Should we call it Ghostbusters? Should we call Domino's? I don't think they have Roxanne's money, but I don't know. It'd probably be nice for the people at Domino's to have something else to talk about besides pizza, pizza, pizza. It's the kind of thing that'll make you go crazy. Bread. The whole time Jackie is talking, Roxanne looks agitated. She's murmuring something to her witnesses. She's incredulous and pale. Those two are unrelated. I just wanted to mention that she's pale.
And since she doesn't accept checks, it's on a cash basis.
You call yourself friends, but you just revealed her whole tax avoidance scheme.
IRS will be on your front doorstep first thing in the morning.
Apparently, Jackie also has witnesses. Her daughter Kayla, who's unironically wearing an unintentionally ugly Christmas sweater, and Stacy, her boyfriend, who has a Clydesdale-like mullet and a biker vest on. Jackie says that she trusted Roxanne as a friend. That's why she didn't require a receipt.
Thank you for being a friend.
There's a frantic, frenetic energy, like everybody's been shotgunning Red Bull. We're moving a mile a minute here. For any listeners on the metric system, that's about 2,673 centimeters per second. Roxanne's child witness has hopped to her feet with her hand raised.
Me.
Roxanne asks for and gets the floor.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Just a
I
second.
will tell you what happened.
Judy motions for Shayna, who the Chiron identifies as Roxanne's daughter, to sit down. But Roxanne pivots again. Is this what being a cheer mom is like? Wait. How did this Mountain Dew Code Cocaine get in my hands, and why is it already half empty?
Actually, I would like my daughter to explain what happened because she was with me the whole time.
Judy declines the request, saying she wants Roxanne to tell her side of the story before she has a kid testify. I think that's a good move. There's no way this kid could keep up with the pace that Jackie and Roxanne are keeping, and I don't want to see poor young Shayna get caught in the middle of this demolition derby.
I'm not interested in all the things that are superfluous to this lawsuit.
Superfluous, Judy? You think with the heart rates these two have that we've got time for words like superfluous? one-syllable words, maybe two-syllable words at max, okay? Judy reminds both Roxanne and Jackie that they had a contract, but that it was clearly invalid because within 48 hours of signing that contract, Jackie stopped bringing the kids to Roxanne.
That's it! The deal is off!
Jackie wants to explain why she stopped bringing the kids to Roxanne, while simultaneously, Roxanne wants to finish explaining her money situation. Roxanne keeps clutching at her head, murmuring the word money.
Tell you why I did
Can I
not bring
finish
them.
my money
Just a
situation?
second. Just a second.
That, by the way, is neither a joke nor an exaggeration.
Can we keep it all in? I'm sorry.
We're talking about
The money.
We don't have time for jokes or exaggerations with these two.
We're talking about first this contract which was signed.
Despite saying that, now that Judy's confirmed the contract is no longer valid, she says she wants to move on from it. I think she's making the mistake of trying to keep up with these two. Look, Judy, she's spry, she's agile, I admit that, but she's trying to win a race, running on 2 feet, while Jackie and Roxanne are riding guarana-powered rockets to the moon.
We can't stop them!
I think we're reverting back to the verbal agreement. I think that's what's going on. All I'm seeing, though, are blur lines trailing behind everyone. Like Phoebe Bridgers after her time with English accent faking ex-boyfriend Ryan Adams. I feel like I'm getting a case of motion sickness.
So the only thing I'm interested in is whether you received, how much do you say you paid her?
$315.
Now, the camera pans back to Roxanne and whew. I mentioned some scary face acting earlier, and look, I'm not here to make fun of anybody's face. So I'm gonna stick with the idea that this is acting, that Roxanne is trying to look like Jack Skellington opening up his mouth for a tooth cleaning, or Bowser yelling out increasingly high, increasingly nonsensical bids at a charity auction where the item up for grabs is one candlelight dinner with Princess Peach. Or maybe she's trying to do like what it would look like if you pushed Mr. Burns out of the airlock of a spaceship without a spacesuit, but only after first filling his mouth with extra crunchy peanut butter.
No!
And how much do you say that you received from her? Madam.
$160 in cash, and it was handed to me by her 2 younger children.
Were they serving espresso beans dipped in 5-hour energy in the green room?
It would seem that way.
Roxanne goes on to provide the names of Jackie's kids who she says gave her the money. For those of you keeping score at home, we now have Jackie, Roxanne, Shayna, Kayla, Crystal, and Stacy.
These are not our real names.
Judy says that it's up to Jackie to prove that she gave Roxanne the $315 she claims. Jackie acquiesces, but is that how it should work? Why is Roxanne's claim accepted as fact? I mean, it's all based on hearsay if it was paid in cash in order that Roxanne could, avoid taxes. Why is the burden of proof on Jackie here?
I have no proof that I did, other than the fact that I had it in an envelope and I gave it to them.
I'm gonna need the envelope to come up to the witness stand. What do you mean its lips are sealed?
No, I think we've had enough of your jokes.
We don't get the envelope, sadly, but we do get Stacy. Jackie says he was there when the magic envelope was passed off from her kids to Roxanne. Stacy's testimony starts off a little less energetically.
Let's see. Roxanne did show up.
That part was never in question, Stacy, but they do say showing up is the hardest part, so, that's something.
Actually, she called first and said she was going to be on her way, or tried to call. Left it on our message. She left a...
Well, so far I just...
I'm getting a little bit of Grandpa Simpson and a little bit of Derry Girl's Uncle Colm from this guy.
So it says himself, says I call him. This is no day for a do.
Albeit with a mohair mullet and a biker vest. They didn't want you to testify about how the money got from Jackie to Roxanne, or, for that matter, how Roxanne eventually got to your house. You're supposed to say something about how much money was in the envelope, which, if you think about it, is asking a lot of Stacy.
You should be nicer to me.
The camera flips to Roxanne, ever entertainingly, who's gasping and looking wildly about, like me the first time I tried snorkeling. Though, to be clear, Roxanne is in a pretend courtroom somewhere off of Sunset Boulevard, and I was drowning in a cave in Mexico. Judy isn't impressed by Stacy's limp rambling.
So far I got 3 different stories.
And like the 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, none of these 3 stories were very interesting. Comment or email at judgingjudypod@gmail.com to agree that the Guardians of the Galaxy movies were complete trash. After some vaudevillian theatrics from Roxanne, Stacy concedes he did not see the exchange of money. Well, that was useless, but at least it was brief. Stacy's presence on the show today wins the award for the most concise waste of time. Congratulations, Stacy.
Which is interesting now because JFK, well, he was the 35th.
Roxanne, if I haven't made it clear, is absolutely nuts. She's whispering to her kid or to the computer literacy teacher. She's grabbing at her hair and ears. If you wanted to really traumatize your kids, Roxanne would be a fantastic choice for a babysitter. Judy asks for some background info on how Jackie and Roxanne came to this whole arrangement to begin with. Roxanne explains that it was a product of their children's friendship, which is a long way around of saying that it was for convenience's sake. Also, I imagine that this whole going on Judge Judy thing kind of put an end to any more, mall madness after school.
Attention mall shoppers, there is a clearance at the jewelry store.
So far I have $315. You say you were paid $160 of that. I still don't understand what you're suing for $759.20 for.
Maybe she's just bad at math. To be honest, that could be the issue behind this whole discrepancy. Roxanne might just not know how to count. Either that or Jackie's kids, Brayla and Moonstone, might have pocketed it. Who knows? Roxanne doesn't explicitly deny that it's because she doesn't know how to count. She says that the amount she is suing for is because Jackie did not give her the 2 weeks notice she was contractually obligated to provide. Depending on her mood, I'm thinking Judy's going to either call that baloney, phooey, hogwash, or nonsense. Because, the whole contract was invalid, right?
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not considering.
I wasn't even gonna.
Right. Now, Jackie asks for the floor, which Judy grants her. I hope Jackie quickly passes it to Stacy so we can glean a little bit more of his wisdom.
I'm gonna celebrate with an extra pudding cup tonight.
Despite Judy granting Jackie the floor, Roxanne hops back on her steamroller.
Your Honor, I wasn't. I wanted to get just the services, $205 plus. I told her I wanted a $35 late fee because I was going to let her pay half and half.
A $35 late fee from a lady who doesn't accept checks so she doesn't have to report her income. Did she charge an account maintenance fee too? A service fee? Does she work for Spirit Airlines? Perhaps feeling like the captain of the Titanic right after he slammed into the iceberg, Judy tries to right the ship.
Right now, according to you, she owes you $155.
Judy asks Jackie if she wants to explain why she thinks she doesn't owe Roxanne the money.
Well, first of all, I have paid her. Second of all,
No, you haven't.
For Jackie's sake, you gotta hope that her second of all is gonna land a little bit better than the first of all did, because the first of all was a dud. She came in hot with that first of all, but it ended up helping her just about as much as having Stacy speak did.
We've made things worse.
Jackie's second of all is about how she did give 2 weeks notice, but Judy says she didn't pay for the 2 weeks, which confuses me because I thought the contract wasn't even in play anymore. I thought that was the one thing I understood about this case, besides that people have too many kids and frequently give them stupid names. Jackie is still insisting that she paid Roxanne, while Roxanne is off, playing air guitar to the Metallica song blasting at full volume in her head. At last, Jackie tries a new tactic, safety.
when I picked my children up on Thursday night, they told me that she let them go to the park with 3 infants by themselves while she was in the house lying down.
For perspective, the 2 girls we see here in the courtroom, Quayla and Sabretooth, are, let's say 10, no older than 12. I don't know where 3 more infants came from, but I'm certainly horrified by the idea of them. Jackie's trying to explain how this put all of the children in danger, while Roxanne is having a sidebar conversation. Now, it's either with one of her witnesses or the ghost of Leon Czolgosz, the assassin of William McKinley, the U.S.'s 25th president.
Children in danger, which is why I had to go back.
Madam, want to be quiet for a second?
Judy, if you want that to work, you're also going to have to ask the voices in Roxanne's head. You're going to have to ask them to quiet down, too. In response to being chastised, Roxanne shoots Judy a really terrifying look. Unflappable as she is, even Judy must have been scared by this.
I mean, it's always a good idea to...
It's very hard for me to listen to this.
Clearly, but fine, let's just say that's true. You're still an adult, and you should still be able to act like one. But the way you're acting, with every word that Jackie says, you're writhing around like you just got sick outside an all-you-can-eat seafood buffet.
Oh, I can't believe I ate those scallops again.
Judy explains that she understands that Roxanne is upset, but that she has to behave herself in court. Roxanne has other ideas.
You're in court. I understand you're upset.
Actually, I don't even want to listen to it.
Okay.
Roxanne is now standing with her back completely turned to Jackie, so that she's kind of perpendicular to Judy, and her shoulders are kind of scrunched. It's like she's huddling up with some kind of demon. That may, in fact, be exactly what she's doing. Judy, unfortunately, doesn't let Jackie continue, deciding instead to refer to the notes provided going into the case. While Roxanne clutches at her stomach and shakes her drooped head, Judy says that Jackie wrote about how she was dissatisfied with Roxanne's babysitting, including the presence of spoiled milk in the house. The very mention of this elicits a new round of shocked and horrified faces from not just Roxanne, but her older witness and her daughter Chopin. But Judy's confused. Even after these alleged instances of poor babysitting, Jackie continued to bring her kids to Roxanne, suggesting that while she wasn't a fan of the spoiled milk, she wasn't exactly crying about it either.
Please stop!
The camera flips to Sharon, Roxanne's mother, the older woman witness, as she waves her hand to speak. Jackie goes on to say that spoiled milk was one thing, this incident with the park and a roving band of infants was another entirely. Sharon, meanwhile, is grimacing, upset she hasn't been called upon to speak, and probably afraid of her daughter as Roxanne violently points in her direction. I want to stress again that I am neither making jokes or exaggerating about the activity from Roxanne and her brood, not in the least.
Then what did you sign the contract for?
Judy's still going on about the contract for some reason that I can't figure out. And in the meantime, just another update on Roxanne. Now she has her head in her hands. She looks completely distraught because her mom stood up to speak and then slumped back down in her seat. After they got home, I'm a little bit worried that Roxanne might have, as a form of punishment, given Sharon some spoiled milk, if you know what I mean. Jackie says that the incident with the infants in the park happened the day after she signed the contract. Judy accepts that, but points again to previous misdeeds that Jackie alleged happened.
Okay, but you say prior to this incident, I found out through something that the baby's bottle was sour.
That baby's a snitch. Now Roxanne and all three of her witnesses have their hands raised. It's like they're all riding on an invisible train, hanging on to invisible straps. Jackie says that, quote, somebody told her about the medication and the sour milk. This is the second time Jackie has mentioned a shadowy someone. Remember, she said, quote, these people took the envelope with the money for Roxanne. Judy's main gripe is that all this happened, the milk, the medication. She was so upset on September 10th, she gave verbal notice on September 10th. And then she signed a contract on September 11th and sent her kids again to Roxanne on September 12th. But Jackie says she doesn't remember when she signed the contract and that the contract doesn't have any dates on it. I really thought / wished we were done with the whole contract nonsense, baloney, hogwash, etc. But now Judy wants to see it again.
Just the thing is this was all verbally agreed on.
Wait, so even Roxanne doesn't want us to look at the contract? It's been fun watching Roxanne and her flying squirrels do all their acrobatics, but I am completely lost.
It doesn't make any difference.
That's what you said before, and I believed you, and yet here we are, talking contracts again. You have no one but yourself to blame, Judy. Judy seems just about ready to wrap this case up in Roxanne's wildly emotive favor, but first wants to impart some wisdom.
Because as a parent, if you're a responsible parent, the first time you have an inkling that something is not right with a daycare provider, if you have a brain in your head, you remove your children.
If I only had a brain.
The Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz was a notoriously bad parent.
She was a friend.
Just a listen.
Giving her the benefit of the doubt.
Roxanne's doing some miming at this point. It's like she's trying to guide an airplane into the gate at the airport, but the airport is experiencing a 9.3 earthquake. In the meantime, Judy explains that she isn't having Jackie's explanation for this whole thing.
I also don't believe that you paid her the other money that you say that you paid her. There isn't much of a question in my mind. Even your witness couldn't stand there and lie to me.
You can either grow a full, luscious head and neck and shoulders of hair, or you can lie, but not both. Judy finally rules in favor of Roxanne for $155. That was a lot of back and forth, a lot of calisthenics for $155. During her parting words, Jackie tries to explain more about how she was dissatisfied with the child care provided by Roxanne. Roxanne naturally responds reasonably by yelling over Jackie.
Kill her, my children. Obviously, I made an error. She tried to take advantage of me, and you just didn't get over this.
Whew, that was exhausting. Let's get to case number 2. It took 14 episodes of me doing this podcast to get one case about babysitters, and now we have our second. Email judgingjudypod@gmail.com if you think 1996 was, in fact, the year of the bad babysitter. Our plaintiff Pamela babysat for Michaela's 5-year-old named Kyle until she decided to quit, saying that Kyle was a problem. Now, Michaela won't pay Pamela, saying Pamela mistreated Kyle.
So, yeah, this feels familiar.
Pamela got an $80 check from Maleka, but Maleka then issued a stop payment for that check, costing Pamela $28 in bank fees. Just a brief pause to remind everyone that banks are horrible, horrible leeches. Back to the case.
Why did you stop payment on the check?
Michaela says that she paid Pamela in advance, but that Pamela then decided not to uphold her side of the deal.
Out of the clear blue sky, a couple of days after I paid her, and she told me, well, she wasn't going to be able to watch my son anymore. She had other things that she wanted to do.
Pamela says that that's untrue. Further, she says she never even agreed to babysit the kid.
I agreed to take him to school and pick him up from school. That's why I only charged for $80.
Pamela says that babysitting was thrown in for free, effectively, as she had no car to pick up the kid and bring him back. I'm a little confused by her explanation for how this arrangement worked and how it evolved.
So when it became a problem for me, I told her to leave him at her house. I'll pick him up there, bring him to school and take him back. She said, well, you'll do it for $40. I said, no, I wouldn't get out of my bed for $40.
That didn't really clear anything up, but it sounds like you have a very comfortable bed. Maleka says that Pamela was the one who originally offered to do it for $40, that she never suggested she do it for just that amount.
I canceled the check because she didn't fulfill her agreement. She said she was going to still be watching my child towards the end of that month, and she didn't. She told me she wasn't going to be able to do it.
You know, that seems like a pretty good reason not to pay someone. Generally speaking, you pay people for doing things, not for not doing things.
Write that down. I like that.
Pamela not doing the things she was being paid for apparently wasn't the only issue. According to Maleka, Kyle talked to Maleka's grandmother about how Pamela was treating him.
And he told her that she was saying mean things to him, and she would have him sitting outside.
Maleka goes as far to say that Pamela was neglecting her child. That also seems like a good reason not to pay someone.
Oh, well, isn't that convenient?
We come back from a commercial break to learn that Pamela watched Kyle for a total of 7 weeks. She was paid $80 in full for the first month and was initially paid for the second month until Maleka stopped the payment on that second check, suggesting that Pamela worked unpaid for 3 weeks of babysitting.
Well, the problem that I have also with the neglect.
Judy agrees with Maleka when she says that when you have a child with you, you have to watch the child. Maleka then describes ways in which Pamela may have been a little derelict in her duties.
My child shaved his eyebrows at her house.
I'm gonna need to see a picture, a funny, undoubtedly embarrassing picture to confirm this one.
Her child has a behavior problem.
But a very adroit set of hands to be able to shave off his eyebrows at just 5 years old, am I right?
I couldn't do that.
Pamela goes on to say that Maleka is aware of Kyle's behavioral problems and that his school is also aware. Her coup de grace is that even in the bathroom, Kyle needs to be supervised. More like a coup de grace, am I right?
He's 5 years old with a very high IQ.
Is that a backhanded compliment or just a regular compliment? Also, look, let's say this kid is an evil little genius. You're saying this was common knowledge, not some kind of surprise. If you knew he was devious and conniving and destructive and downright Republican, wouldn't you think he needed extra supervision? Super supervision? It'd be one thing if you thought he were angelic and then he duped you by finding a shaver and taking it to his eyebrows. But you're saying you knew everything. You knew everything there was to know about him, and yet you still decided not to supervise him.
Okay, this is not a stupid 5-year-old.
Unless you're saying he outsmarted you. Unless you're saying you were supervising him, but he still managed to dupe you. That would suggest not that you were neglectful, but that you were simply unsuited for the job. I don't know which is worse.
If he's smart, then she needs to watch him.
That's what I'm saying. Or call it quits. Say, this boy's too clever. I can't in good faith give him the attention he deserves, the attention he demands. Mind you, she claims to have quit on account of what she says were the kid's behavioral problems. But how long had she let the kid run wild until she threw up the white flag? And did her inability or unwillingness to watch the kid mean that she wasn't actually ever doing her job? It doesn't seem like we're going to get answers to any of those questions, as Judy seems ready to side with Pamela, saying that she fulfilled her end of the bargain. But did she? Did she really?
Doesn't seem like it.
She wasn't just supposed to occupy the same space as Kyle. She was supposed to watch him. Before Judy wraps this case up, she provides an anecdote from the paperwork that came in from Maleka and Pamela prior to the case.
That there was a time when you went grocery shopping and you had other kids that you were babysitting for in the car and you filled up the car with groceries. Listen. And you had Kyle, who's only 5, sort of running alongside of the car because there was no room for him in the car. Terrible.
Wait, that's neglect. That's not fulfilling your obligation. When Maleka paid Pamela to watch her 5-year-old, I don't think that was the service she intended to pay for.
Should never do that.
Yeah, duh. Pamela's explanation is that it's Kyle's fault because Kyle is Kyle.
None give me the problem Kyle gives me.
Judy tries to explain that even if the car was going slow, and even if Kyle was on the sidewalk versus being on the road, it doesn't quite sit right to have a 5-year-old run alongside the car because it was too full. I repeat, yeah, Duh.
He told me, Mommy, she had me walk on the side of the car. So I said, well, Kyle, I asked her, I said, well, why would you do that to my child? She said, well, it was just, it didn't hurt him. He's okay.
Judy says that Maleka did the right thing in changing sitters, that Pamela was either unwilling or unable to handle Kyle's, quote, special energy.
Some 5-year-olds sit there in front of a television. All you have to do is give them a bowl of candy in front of a television set, and they sit there like boxes in front of the television.
This would also be bad babysitting.
This lady is not a good sitter for your child.
Nonetheless, Judy rules in favor of Pamela for $85, covering her unpaid 3 weeks of work plus the canceled check fee. And now it's my turn to pound the proverbial gavel. It's my turn to judge Judy. I use a highly unscientific method, like any good judge, but it all boils down to this. Did Judy deliver justice? To the people in her court, to the people watching at home, and to the people listening to this nonsense podcast. If she did, she's innocent. If not, she's guilty. As for today, look, I'm not expecting Judy to be perfect. Otherwise, this show would be called Is Judy Perfect? And while that would be a good name, maybe even a better name when it comes to SEO purposes, this isn't Is Judy Perfect? And I don't expect her to be. That's why I'm willing to say Judy was innocent today, even though I thought both of her rulings were wrong. Let me explain. She had a lot on her hands in case 1. Roxanne was a maniac. Is that fair? I don't want to disparage Roxanne, and I don't want to make light of any kind of condition, but Roxanne wasn't behaving according to any sort of commonly accepted norms. She wasn't acting like an adult. She wasn't acting human. She was maybe acting, but she wasn't acting human. And Judy put up with her. She didn't rise to the occasion by falling down to Roxanne's level. She didn't yell or scream or do any of her usual dog and pony show. Frankly speaking, Judy probably ought to have more frequently told Roxanne to chill out, but I think Judy recognized she wasn't dealing with a person completely capable of controlling herself. I don't have the same confidence that Judy did that Jackie underpaid Roxanne, and I think Jackie might have had more of a case than Judy allowed for. But of course, Roxanne's tube man act overshadowed all of that. Judy did the best that she could to manage the situation while still giving us an entertaining episode. And for that, I can forgive her maybe getting her ruling wrong. With case number 2, I think Maleka was right to think that the service she got was not satisfactory, that it was, in fact, not what she paid for. Pamela neglected her kid. It was her job to watch Kyle, no matter how smart or clever he was. She didn't do that job. However, Judy gets a pass for going to great lengths to be instructive and gentle with both Pamela and Maleka. She tried to impart wisdom without being patronizing, without treating them like children. Dumb children, as Pamela might put it. I can respect someone who is wrong if they can be wrong with grace. And throughout Judy's performance today, she acted with grace. For that reason, today, Judy is innocent. You know what that sound means? It's hangman time. And I'm not talking about the hangman you played when you were a kid, when you probably should have been learning how to more effectively tie your shoes. No, this is hangman with stakes. This week, I'm putting holding the door open for the person behind you up on the gallows. If I win, you will still be required to hold the door open for a person behind you up to a certain reasonable distance. If, however, I lose, not only will you not be required to hold the door open, you'll be forced to close it before the person behind you can walk through. If I lose, it's every man and woman and child for himself or herself or their self when it comes to opening doors. As always, I'm using hangmanwords.com, and this week I'm going back to their geography words list. And as a reminder, I can make 6 incorrect guesses, 6 letters that aren't in the word until I lose. And finally, I know this doesn't work for an audio medium. It's not news to me, okay? All right, this week's word, again, remember it's on the geography words list. It is short, it's brief, it's 6 letters. I'm gonna start with E. There's no E, so I have 5 more incorrect guesses. My little hangman has a head. I'm gonna guess T, as in there is no T in the word. So now I have 2 incorrect guesses. I have 4 more. Let's try A. There is an A. It is the penultimate letter. So it's blank, 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 A blank. Let's try G. Let's try N. There's an N at the end. So it's blank, 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 A-N. Let's try B. There is no B. So now I have 3 more incorrect guesses. Let's try R. There is an R. Blank, blank, R, blank, A-N. Let's try P. There is no P. I only have 2 more incorrect guesses. Let's try, I'm going fast here. Maybe a little too fast. Maybe I should just wait. I think people say dead air is good for both podcasts and for Hangman, but let's try G. There is no G, so I only have 1 more incorrect guess. I feel like I have to go with one of the big letters here. I still have an S, I still have an L, I still have an I. Let's go with S. It was not S. I got this one wrong. It was Jordan, Jordan. That means doors closed, everybody. Close them good. You might want to lock them. Finally, let us spare a moment for an out-of-context quote from Judge Judy. My children used to say we were growing penicillin in our refrigerator. That's it. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, like, fornicate, and share, but please, whatever you do, don't hire Roxanne as your babysitter.